He said, Ayyuhal Muslim, these things are from the khuz'abalat, and they are from the most ridiculous of affairs. وَشَرُّ الْبَلِيَّةِ مَا يُضْحِكُ. And as the Arabs, they say that the worst of calamities are the ones that make you laugh. The worst of afflictions are those that make you laugh. It is a laughable calamity that you will find Muslims profiting off Valentine's Day, celebrating Valentine's Day, and acknowledging Valentine's Day. While Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He said, قُلْ أَفَغَيْرَ اللَّهِ تَأْمُرُونِّي يَعْبُدُ أَيُّهَا الْجَاهِلُونَ وَلَقَدْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ وَإِلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ لَئِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ وَلَتَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He said, is there other than Allah that you order me to worship? Say to them, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is there other than Allah that you order me to worship, O you ignoramuses? And indeed it has been revealed to me, as well as to the prophets before me, that if you committed shirk with Allah, that if you worship anything besides Allah, la yahbatanna amaluk, then your actions will be rendered null and void, and you will be from the losers. It was a celebration that was steeped and based in paganism and idolatry, and that is enough for a Muslim to hate it for the sake of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and that is enough for a Muslim to shun it for the sake of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and that is enough for a Muslim to tell his neighbors from the Nasara, and those that he works with from the Nasara, and anyone else who claims to be a Christian and celebrates this day, that this is what you agree to be, the origins of this day. And this day, it is such a filthy day, even as regards al-ishq al-muharram, even as regards the forbidden lust and the forbidden infatuation that is connected to this day, that they are celebrated in the Christian world, that in the early generations, the clergy protested in Italy to the point that the Vatican itself banned this day, because the Christians, they developed a practice on this day where they would take a small card. Each marriable girl, she would take a small card and she would write her name upon the card. And she would put the card upon a table in a bowl or a dish with the rest of the names of the girls in the city or the village. And the young boy, he would come. The young boy, he would come and he would take a name out of the bowl. He would take a name out of the bowl, and whatever name he got on that day, then he would be in the khidmah of that girl. He would be in the service of that girl for an entire year, so that they could observe the khuluq of one another, so they could observe the mannerisms and how they deal with one another, and so on and so forth. And if after that year, he didn't like what he saw, after serving her for a whole year, if he didn't like what he saw, then he started the process all over again, and he got another name out of the bowl. And this caused all sorts of fawahish to spread amongst the people. It's caused all sorts of children to be born outside of wedlock. It caused all sorts of munkar, all sorts of lewdness, and so on and so forth, to the point that the Christian clergy themselves banned the celebration. And then later on, some of the Protestant nations, they developed this practice, and it was spread to America, and it was spread to the Middle East and Southeast Asia, and everywhere else in this age of globalism, where you find the Muslims take the way of the nations before them, shibran bi shibrin, wa dhira'an bi dhira'in, span by span and cubit by cubit. Wallahu al-musta'an.